Hi, I'm Craig. It's my brother Brad. Welcome to Weekdays with Craig and Brad, episode 51. Brad, we did it.
Whoa. 51 episodes? That's like
Yeah.
halfway to 100. Over
Yeah.
halfway.
As was pointed out in the chat, that's like 1 million eyeballs in the comments. It was great over on YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, it's great stuff.
Congratulations.
Listen, we're recording this on a Sunday night over at twitch.tv/Craig Skits. If you're watching over on YouTube, I encourage you to hit the follow button over on Twitch. That'd be really grateful. And if you're watching for the first time over on YouTube, just give us a few minutes. And if you like us a lot, just hit the subscribe button because the churn's happening, baby. We're starting to turn the corner.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think we've been starting to turn the corner for about 20 episodes now.
Well, yeah. It's slowly. It's like the divide's getting less and less. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now, see, after we celebrated 50 episodes over the weekend, I placed an order for a new light and a new webcam. I was trying to upgrade the show to another level. Now I'm using the light, so I should look a little brighter and not as yellowy as I did. It doesn't matter. The camera didn't work as well as I wanted it to. And so I'm sending it back. So this is still, nothing's changed really, is my point.
You see what happens though when you support the show over at patreon.com/Craig Skits. That's what happens. We reinvest into this production for you, which is great. Next up, internet.
Yes, I looked at the internet options over the weekend, and I have had a talk with the wife about it. So hopefully we'll be cruising along here, so we don't get any more 90s internet Brad. But I kind of like that could sort of be my thing, where I broadcast in vintage internet.
Sure. Okay. Sounds good. I like it. I like it a lot. If you guys just popping in over on Twitch, it's good to see you guys. Thank you very much. I see Matthew and Iceman and Pliskin coming in. Real go-to is here. That's right. Dial-up internet for Brad over there. 1.4 megabytes per second. Pretty much the worst internet available right now. Brad has it, but we're going to upgrade it. It's going to be good. Okay. So we're going to have an excellent show today. I'm glad everybody's popping over on Twitch. And once again, if you're watching over on YouTube, that's great because we have a lot to talk about today. Lots to talk about.
So much going on.
Yeah, I mean the Super Bowl just finished up. I figured we should probably get into the Super Bowl stuff. I mean the Super Bowl stuff is great, but before we do that, we have some more pressing matters that we need to address. First, it's me changing over the category over on Twitch, which is what I just did in real time. Second, it's time for the YouTube comment of the day. Pretty excited about this one today, and this is what this show is all about. All right, Christopher has been a YouTube comment of the day or before, but Christopher is going to win it right here. Christopher Abel says, "Craig and Brad, bringing civility back to the internet. That's what I'm talking about. Civil discussion. It's very simple. It's a simple concept, but I love everything about it, which is why you got the blessed heart right there. That's what happens. You get the heart. I don't just hand out hearts like they're candy here. All right, you got to earn my heart. That's all I'm saying. Okay, but I appreciate that, Chris. Congratulations.
That's a good comment. Appreciate that.
It's so much so. Yeah, I love that. It's such a good comment. It's the YouTube comment of the day. Yeah. See, I'm getting good and just going right
in there. You got a YouTube comment of the day, big red button.
Yeah, it's good. So you want to talk Super Bowl real quick, or should we tell everybody else what we have going on?
Let's talk about shirts real quick.
Okay, sounds good, because we have 7 shirts left. 7 shirts. We started with 20 on Friday, and 13 have been sold. We're only selling 20 of them. They look like this. You can pick them up over at streamlabs.com/CraigSkits1/merch. You can find the link down below. If you're watching over on YouTube or on Twitch, you can get it in any of these 5 colors. And guess what? This is some high quality thread right here. This is a super high quality Bella canvas shirt. If you followed me over at Game Attack, these are the same quality shirts. They are nice. They're form fitting, and we have 5 different colors, but there's only 7 total shirts left. So make sure you guys go pick it up right now. You can see it right there. 7 left while you have the opportunity, because they will go.
Get on it. Yeah.
7 left or till Friday.
You know what's cool about this is not only are they limited edition to 20, but depending on the color that you pick, it's even more limited edition. Like if you're the only person to order a red, then you've got the one. You know,
I love that.
I'll be interested to see. If you ordered one, take a picture and share it with us somewhere, and we'll show it off. We'll have a modeling show.
Hey, one other thing that I wanted to promote really quick while I have an opportunity is I've been talking about the I'm going to be doing a Screw Attack auction coming up in the next few weeks, and I have finalized the list of inventory for the auction. Would you like to take a real quick peek of the inventory here? I mean, you actually may be familiar with some of these things.
Sure,
which is good. Here it is right here. The final list. I have an apparel, accessories, video games, and Screw Attack history area. All of the apparel has been worn at some time, with the exception of, I believe, 1 or 2 hats, which there's some items that have never been released. This one that's never been released. I'm getting rid of some of the accessories. The E3 2006 bag, the first ever ScrewAttack.com Stutter and Craig computer bag, which actually still has the E3 2006 thing on it. It's great. The little tag on it, which is pretty cool. The famed Call of Duty Black Ops Screw Attack helicopter helmet, which is pretty awesome. And I have some super rare things that I'm going to be selling, auctioning off with the video games. I have a Turok 2 N64 demo cartridge, which retail value online says $500. The gold DuckTales NES cartridge, there's only 150 of them made. I have a number 148. I have Street Fighter 4 signed by Keiji Inafune. Got that from SGC. And the Battletoads 2020 mystery box, there are only 400 of those made. I have number 180. I also have a number of Screw Attack script pads that have things like the top 10 boobies. They're all handwritten scripts. The top 10 coolest characters. Was the first top 10 that was on game trailers. Top 10 coolest characters. I have this is actually really pretty amazing. A Screw Attack idea pad with the original concept for texting of the bread and the drawing in it. It's really, really neat. And then here we go. We have this one as well. I can't believe I found this. The Screw Attack business legal pad that actually contains the original business plan for Screw Attack, handwritten on it. Whoa. So, and on top of that, I have these down here. A lot of little fun things down here. But these down here are pretty awesome. These are the first 8 CDs. I used to save the original side scrollers on CDs. I would burn them, and I actually have them. I'm going to be they're going to be a part of the auction like this. This is actually one of the things I'm doing. It's actually the first ever recording of side scrollers as a test recording. For all you can see the date, December 27th, 2005. So cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff. So if anybody's like a super Screw Attack fan, those things will be going up on auction here in the next few weeks. I'll keep you updated. So should be pretty fun.
Do you think anything in that list is going to sell more than David Hasselhoff's kit car?
No. No. But it's more than anything. It's just I feel like there's a lot of people at Screw Attack meant a lot of things to them, and those are things that I really appreciate and I really like. But I think it'd be really cool if I hand it over to somebody who'd really, really appreciate it. So yeah, it's gonna be good. Cool. Hey, Basil from the other side of the world has joined us. What's up, Basil? Good to see you. How are you, son?
Come on in.
Nice. Vilter, no, I've not hired an auctioneer. I think about just going on eBay. I think I'm going to do it just on eBay, just an eBay auction, but we'll see. Roland joined us. Pliskin is here. Says, I used to love listening to side scrollers back in the day. It was a highlight of my week. Well, you by the way, this first ever side scrollers recording, no one's ever heard it. It's never been heard before in public. We're not even Stuttering Craig and Handsome Tom at that point. It's Craig and TJ, and it's really, really, really bad. I listened to it today. It's horrific. So anyway,
it's like a demo.
Yeah,
like old unreleased demo of
it was a test. Yeah, that's 100% right. It was just a test. It was a pilot, and that was 2 months before, about 6 weeks before we launched ScrewAttack.com. So yeah, that's good. So I think, Brad, speaking of, I think you'll remember this actually. You can see here's side scrollers number 1 right here. And what's it say on the bottom, Brad? What's number 4? What's next to number 4?
Oh, hate email.
Yeah, that's you.
Is that my email I sent you? Your first hate email?
Yep.
That's the job of a good brother right there.
Way to go.
Congratulations. Be on your toes. And look where it got you. If I hadn't sent that hate email to you, it wouldn't have driven you to become an internet sensation.
Yes. Yeah, it was great. Good run. Okay, so okay, we're gonna get into the Super Bowl here in a little bit and how it relates to culture and all this stuff. But before we do that, I would like to do a brief Super Bowl recap for everybody, for those who didn't watch the game, like Brad.
Yeah, I haven't watched the Super Bowl since Michael Jackson did the halftime show.
Okay, sounds good. Well, let me give you the rundown of what happened today. Okay, real quick. It was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with their brand new quarterback, Tom Brady, who is 43 years old, Brad. 43 years old. He's been playing in the NFL forever. He has won 6 Super Bowls with the New England Patriots. This is his first season with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Patriots went down the crapper while Tom Brady took the Buccaneers straight to the promised land, straight to the Super Bowl, versus the Kansas City Chiefs, who were the previous champions from the last year. So the Chiefs came in with their hot quarterback who recently signed a 10-year contract, who is on track to be the next Tom Brady. He is a special player. His name is Patrick Mahomes. So it's a little bit of the past versus the future in a battle of Super Bowl 55, right? And essentially what happened was Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lifted their leg and just peed all over the Kansas City Chiefs. And that is your Super Bowl recap for this week. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won, and that's pretty much it. And Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl on his 10th Super Bowl trip. So he has been to 10 Super Bowls, more than anybody ever. He has won more Super Bowls by himself than any singular franchise in the NFL. So Tom Brady is pretty much a god. I used to hate him, but I'm kind of rooting for him now because I don't like Belichick. So there you go.
I saw that on the internet. Now, I don't follow football. I don't follow the football game. I'm glad I didn't watch, because now I know the ending, and that's all I need to know, right?
Yeah,
so I can
well,
go on my
sure.
Facebook and say, all right, good, go team. But I noticed that a lot of people were like, oh, I hate Tom Brady. And I was like, what's up with this guy? What did he do that was so wrong?
He wins a lot. Yeah. So people don't like winners, right? And I was one of them for a long time, but I realized that I just didn't like Bill Belichick, who was his coach, or when he was on the New England Patriots. But he's a pretty good dude. You like him? He's like a plant-based guy. He's like vegan kind of. I think he's vegan.
Yeah,
I think
healthy
so.
guy.
Yeah,
Cool.
he's super healthy. If you look at him, let me pull this up real quick. It's actually pretty funny.
You think we could hang out together?
Well, you're probably out of his. Probably out of his. Here he is when he came in. Let me show you this real quick. It's his famous picture.
Trying to say?
Well, you probably don't have the money. Let's see.
Oh, I have to have money to hang out with Tom Brady. I see how it is.
Yeah, he's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Okay.
Let me pull up a picture of Tom Brady then and Tom Brady now. Okay. So here's Tom Brady in his first year in the NFL. Right here. This is a pretty famous one. Pretty famous.
That looks like my body, except still better.
Right. So Tom Brady, it's his first year. He's kind of let's see if I can find a headshot of him real quick. So he's kind of like, kind of a big, tough guy. There. Oh, that's a nice little gift.
Oh, look at that.
And look at how much healthier he gets throughout the years.
he got younger.
Yeah, right. So that's when he started. He got kind of fat, and then here he is now. He's like super lean and like, he's Captain America, man. It's crazy.
That's cool. Yeah. Good for him. Well, hey, you work hard, kids, and you'll win some Super Bowls, and you'll look like a stud.
Yeah, well, he does. It's crazy. So there you go. That's the Super Bowl recap. Congratulations, Tampa Bay, or some people are calling it Champa Bay.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, how was the Super Bowl? I mean, how was the Super Bowl halftime? How was the Super Bowl halftime show? I meant to ask.
Would you like to know what I did during the Super Bowl halftime show?
Went to the bathroom.
No, I read to my kids so they can go to sleep. That's what I did.
Oh,
so I didn't really watch a whole lot of it.
Okay.
Actually, I did catch the last like 2 minutes of it. You know what? It was really weird. It was really weird because it was The Weeknd is his name, I guess, right? Is it The Weeknd? Is that how you say it? Because there's a letter missing.
I don't follow hip artists anymore.
Okay, but the Weeknd, he was on the field and he's like running around doing his thing, right? But let's see if I can pull this up really fast. There was this really weird.
It's always weird, isn't it?
Okay, here, let me show you this real fast. They had they put everybody in these masks, right?
Yeah.
And I know that sounds crazy for me to say. They put everybody in these masks, but
What?
this is like the next step here.
Oh, cool. That looks
Right.
like underwear on the face.
It does look like underwear on their
Looks like they're all
face.
wearing jock straps on their face.
Yeah, it does.
That is probably the next step, except and then the step after that will be putting like these curved goggle spheres over the eye holes.
That's
That's
hilarious.
crazy. Yeah, I think I did see something about that. It's like related to one of his music videos.
Oh, is it? Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a picture surfacing. He did a video where like he gets like some crazy plastic surgery done,
Right.
and I think that's what it's related to. But
Okay.
yeah, I don't ever watch this. I haven't watched the Super Bowl in for how long I don't know, but I always like I'll look and see how the halftime show went. You know, I'll peek in and be like, you know, who was it? Like, but it's always so weird, you know.
Johnny Come Lately says that's a reference to one of his songs. Okay.
Yeah.
And the real go-to says, would you wear a jock strap on your face to save a life?
Well, not unless the CDC tells me to. I'll do only what they say.
Oh,
Hey,
that's awesome.
speaking of what the CDC tells us to in the Super Bowl, did you follow the guidelines for the CDC Super Bowl guidelines, Craig?
Well, I don't know. Well, hold on. Let's find out what they were. But before I do that, I want to say thanks to Griff for resubbing and Winterblaze for resubbing and Colin for resubbing. Thank you guys very much for resubbing over on twitch.tv/Nice. Well, what were the guidelines?
Well, pull up my screen here. How to cheer. CDC issues guidelines on Super Bowl gatherings. How to Cheer by the CDC should be a book that gets sent to all Americans. Avoid attending large parties, shouting or cheering loudly because that can spread the virus. And if you go to a restaurant, spend a short amount of time in the restroom. Now,
Wait, in the restroom?
In the restroom, if you've got to go, it doesn't matter if you've really got to go and you're gonna be there a while. Like, you got to be conscious of that. So, you know, maybe do like a third of what you got to do and then like flush and leave for a little bit and then come back. I don't know. But isn't that a ridiculous rule? Like, don't tell me how much time I need to spend in the bathroom.
Well,
and at least in the bathroom, you're social distanced.
Wait, hold on. So just to be clear, so you're going to catch, I'm legitimately asking, you have a higher chance of catching COVID in the bathroom than you do the rest of the restaurant.
I don't know. That's just what they say.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, they had some specific guideline rules. CDC issues guidelines on attending Super Bowl celebrations amid coronavirus pandemic. I saw all sorts of ones where it said stomp and bring noisemakers so you don't shout, you know, and then don't play the music too loud because it'll make you talk louder. What are we doing?
Well, I didn't do any of that stuff. Sorry, I'm actually sending myself something really fast. I want to talk about as well.
Did you go? Yeah.
No. Well, so tonight we had the ever fun Super Bowl party where we had soup tonight.
Oh.
And we invited over
Clever, Craig.
What's that?
That's clever.
Yeah, we invited over our grandparents, mother and father-in-law, and yeah, let me pull this up really fast because what are we doing? I don't know, Brad. If I knew, I wish I would be able to tell you. I would actually be able to tell you.
Yeah. Hey, were there people at the Super Bowl? How did that work out?
Yeah, there were 7,500. I think there was close to 25,000 people there. And there was 75. It's really kind of funny because I think I heard 25,000. 7,500 of them were vaccinated first responders or like healthcare workers, right? And that was pretty good. That was a pretty good way of thinking, like, letting them in there and stuff. The rest were like cardboard cutouts, like it was the cardboard cutout thing, which is a pretty standard thing.
Why do they do that?
Why do they, to make it look full?
but it's not.
Yeah, I know, but it looks better on camera.
Yeah, but it's not. It's not. It's just cardboard sitting in a chair.
Yeah, I know.
If you really look at it,
I know.
I mean, okay.
You're right. You're right. It is.
It's
So
giving me a
what
headache.
were some of the other guidelines that they wanted to?
Oh, geez. Let's see here. The U.S. Center of Disease Control and Prevention has issued guidelines on attending celebrations and watch parties for and ahead of the Super Bowl on Sunday. Let me see here. Let me scroll down. Minimize the time you spend in the restaurant, bar, or concession area. Now, if you're going to watch the Super Bowl in a restaurant or a bar, aren't you going to be there the whole time? Basically, you're planning to be there. How do you minimize it other than hoping the game is shorter just for the sake of following the CDC guidelines? Like, oh, I'm planning on going at 7, but the CDC says I need to be there not too long, so I'm hoping the game ends by 7:30. You
I
know?
want to make sure I'm clear. When did they say restaurant or restrooms?
Well, the restroom was on this last one. Yeah. Spend a short amount of time in the restroom. So if you're at a restaurant and you go to the restroom, spend a shorter amount of time in the restroom than you are going to spend time in the restaurant altogether.
Right.
But it said, the longer you stay, the more you increase the risk. Okay. Well, yeah.
I have bad news for you, Brad.
What?
I have bad news for you. I found an article this weekend, and by the way, I think that we're okay. I hope we're okay with the I think we follow the CDC guidelines, not by any thought process. More so, well, no, I certainly screamed, I yelled. Sorry I'm sorry if I yelled COVID. Or if I yelled COVID all over my father-in-law, I'm gonna be really upset.
Yeah,
that's rough. Sorry.
Did you did you yell the word COVID?
I was like, come on,
go football, COVID!
Come on, Tom Brady, COVID.
oh my gosh, it's horrible.
Oh man. Here we go. Reach that far says restrooms spray bodily fluid around. They are feces and COVID cesspools, mostly feces. Right.
Yeah. Well, they're supposed to be cleaned, fairly often. I would imagine the restroom gets cleaned several times a day, whereas the restaurant gets cleaned once when at closing.
Yeah. You could just go in your pants. That's a little bit safer.
That's true. Just let it leak on the floor and then just kick it away or something.
Just let it go. So I want to let you know, Brad, there has been bad news. A new article over the weekend came out yesterday, or on Saturday. And I want to let you know that the pandemic is 10 times worse than you think it is.
Oh no. Okay.
Right? So I went in and I read this article, and the long and short of it is, and this is sound logic. This is very sound logic here, by the way. I would like to point out. The logic is very simple. Most cases, there's a lot of missed cases. There's a lot of it. People don't even know they have COVID, and they could be spreading it. A lot of asymptomatic cases. So there's a chance. There's a good chance that they are estimating that there could be up to 10 times the amount. Whatever you see on the CDC guidelines, or whatever you see on the CDC reports, it's probably up to 10 times that, right? Now, disregard the margin of error being literally 500,000 people here. But if they're somewhere in the middle, and they're saying that, like, there's 1 million people that have cases, right? I think this is pretty alarming. All right, obviously. The pandemic is 10 times worse than we think it is. That's alarming. But this is like a legitimate question. This is a legitimate question. If there's 10 times the amount of people that have COVID right now that are currently listed, does that make it 10 times less deadly? Because only the amount of people that are, like, does that bring the death rate percentage down? I feel like that's a logical question. And
Yeah.
is that a logical question?
I think that's a logical question because you can miss people reporting it, right? But you can't miss people dying,
Right.
right? You
Right.
can't miss the reports of people dying. Those are going to be reported. So yeah, I see what you're saying.
I don't think that's like, I don't think that's a crazy question to ask,
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to this. Like it goes, let me show you this real fast here. On any given day, how many people are actively infectious? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Researchers estimate that roughly 10 times more people are infectious than the number of daily new reported cases here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So here you go. This is the people who become infectious, people who have tested positive right here. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And this is in, January 1st, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is people who are currently infectious. So they're saying currently 1.25 million people are currently infectious right now in
Mm-hmm.
it. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I think it's a simple question, and I would love somebody to be able to answer that question, because I think if we are following the numbers and we're following the science, that drives the death rate down for like kids to literally microscopic, because the death rate in kids is 0.003%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if there's 10 times the amount of cases, I mean, what is the death rate? That is 1/10 of 0.003%.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't know. That's a good question, Craig. Look, I got nothing for you. I mean, there's so many inconsistencies with everything, and a new article will come out. And like, look, you pull up that thing, and it says 10 times worse. Well, then we better close down all the schools that are opening up right now, right? We better I noticed something the other day when the new press secretary came out, and she was talking about uh the importance of masks, and I thought to myself, how come every time they tell us how important the masks are, they're never wearing one?
Oh,
Right?
on government property, by the way.
Yeah, on government.
Federal property. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've covered it several times on the show, but like, just this is where the problem lies for me. The inconsistencies with graphs and data and what we see and who's telling us and what's open, what's not open, what's allowed, what you're allowed to do. And then it gets all the way down to weird stuff like, hey, if you got to go to the bathroom, don't spend too much time in there. Like how often do we go into the bathroom and then we're just sort of hanging out, looking around?
It's like, let me just go touch the stall here a little bit.
Well, you know what? I'm a healthy guy. I'll just stand around and look, and oh, these are cool tiles. Yeah, I think they might look in
Real
my
quick,
house.
this Pete man, I love this discussion topic here. He says 2 million estimated to die if you let it go on its own.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know if I could tell a family, they just have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Pete man, I have a question for you, and this is I legitimately want to hear your answer. This is not sarcastic. I feel like I need to preface anytime I ask a question about this. This is not a rhetorical question. This is a legitimate question I need to ask you. Of the people who have died, what have been the mental effects that it's had literally on everybody? The psychological, mental effects that we've seen. We've seen the suicide rate skyrocket. We've seen the suicide hotline number skyrocket 1,000% more phone calls, not 100%, 1,000% more phone calls to the suicide prevention lines in the United States in particular. We've seen drug use fly up, go crazy. We've seen suicide, depression rates. We've seen small businesses closed. I understand, like it's extremely unfortunate, right, that people have died from this, right? But how do you feel when it comes to the what's happening being worse than the actual pandemic? I just a simple question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a whole other side of the coin that it seems like we're all forgetting, and it's the just the travesty that's going on socially, with businesses, with children, everything you just listed. So, at what point, like, I feel like, at what point do they meet, right? So many people have died, so many people have died, right? COVID, everything else. And then at what point does it tip and you have to make the decision? Well, I don't want to tell column A, they just have to deal with it, or I don't want to tell column B, they just have to deal with it. Because if they haven't already leveled off, they're going to level off pretty soon. We're going into year 2, right? Like I was thinking about it the other day. This is we're going into 1 full year of school, right? Where children have been going to school with masks on, things like that, where a year to a 8, 9, 10-year-old is their whole life, for the most part. So, it's how, what's the threshold? I don't know.
Pete Man says, I don't know if I could tell someone they need to die so someone else can do their job. I don't think that's what you need to say at all. Personally, I don't think that's, sorry, grandma, you need to die because Jimmy needs to go sack groceries. I don't think that's like the idea of what it is. But I think somebody, I feel like that's being hung over a lot of people. The idea of like, look, people are going to die and it's your fault.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
And like, how often do we all have that conversation in our life anyway? Like, is that a common thing in life where you have to sit and look somebody in the eyes and say, look, you're going to have to die?
Right. And this goes back to, once again, to the idea of any other disease, whether it's the flu, whether it's, you're allergic to, not so much a disease, but you could be allergic to something. You could be allergic to some sort of flower. You may not even know what you're allergic to, and you may be exposed to it. You may kill somebody on accident. You get in your car on a day-to-day basis, going down the street on a walk. Things happen all the time, and but they don't shut down the economy in the world.
Well, Pete Man says, I will concede staying home has been very rough in causing its own problems. Right. Like, and now it's infecting your own life in other ways. Right. So you're having your own problems. So do you have to forfeit, what am I trying to say here? Do you have to give up your life, in order for that? Because you don't want to feel the weight of ruining somebody else's life. Is your life worth ruining for the sake of, I don't know if your life's being ruined, but you know what I'm saying. You're having problems.
Altering dramatically.
Yeah.
For sure. Miss Mindy says, I don't want to see anyone get sick or have bad outcomes, but we have to ask ourselves, how many more years of our life are we supposed to be on or supposed to put on hold for? Hal says, my grandma's 102 and she wants the virus. Easy, Hal. Easy.
Well, you know what? That's a good point. To each their own. I've said this a few times on the podcast, but some people are not afraid of dying and they just want to live their life, especially people in their older years. They don't want to spend the last years of their life, locked inside, away from family members. They don't care. They've lived their life. They're ready to go. And they're the ones that are the most susceptible to getting it, So everybody's different.
Chacho says, how do I tell my cousin who does not get to play his senior in football, not go to junior or senior prom, or go on a school trip? Yeah, like we're taking away, people's lives aren't just being altered. The education system is such a mess right now. And it doesn't matter if you're in Chicago or in Florida or Dallas or wherever you are. Like, kids are dumber because of COVID. Just at their age, they are dumber because they have not got the education that they were supposed to get. Whether it's at home education or whether it's at their school education, they have not got the education. It doesn't matter if your school's open or not, right? It's suffered dramatically. So, FR says, I think it's an important point that I would hate to be the person pulling the lever that say, hey, if I do this, more people will catch and spread a deadly disease. But if I do this, more people will commit suicide. It's an impossible choice.
Right.
Yeah,
that's the thing. You have to make your own decisions at some point. Like, we can't all fit under, these guidelines, right? Like, take that silly bathroom example again. There are people who really maybe they're handicapped or in some sort of situation where it takes them some time in the restroom, right? What are they supposed to hurry up now? Because, everybody's different is my point. We can't all fit under an umbrella of one set of rules. And we have to make our own decisions too, because now there are lives being dramatically hampered in so many ways on both sides of the scale.
It's an interesting conversation, Pete, man. I love that you're chiming in. I really do. This is great. Florida Man says, from my perspective, it's a risk versus reward game now. It's a free country, and everyone has the right to decide for themselves what risks they're willing to take. But one thing is for certain: life can't grind to a halt. We literally do not have the option. But a Florida Man, unfortunately, we do have that option, and that is exactly what has happened. Specifically, I saw in the chat they're going into the third lockdown in the UK. Third lockdown. That's crazy. Kudan says, for me, it's super simple. One person in the family goes to get groceries. Those that need to go to work, just go and wear a mask / use gel. What is gel? What is that? The whole other time, stay at home. Really? Like you're cool with just staying at home, doing nothing. That's great. Okay, cool. Love that.
And again, some people are, but some people aren't,
Oh, hand sanitizer. Okay. Just making sure.
There's mask gel now, Craig. You put over your face.
I legitimately, I didn't even know. But I think the idea here behind this article is, it's more like, listen, this needs to be scary, but this is like extremely, like, this is exciting for me, right? And because the idea that, like, if there are 10 times the amount of cases out there than they're currently being reported based off this article, and our death rate based off those cases is 0.3%, that means the death rate is dramatically lower than is actually being thrown out there, which is outstanding news. I think that's outstanding news. Like if this is accurate, this legitimately could be the best news period about it. And this to me is like, let's open up immediately, because guess what? Everybody has it already. And congratulations. The death rate is so ridiculously low. It's not even worth talking about. But that's just, I don't know. It's
a good perspective. Yeah, you're right. Way to go, Craig. You did it. You defeated COVID.
No, I'm just saying, I think there should be an optimistic look at that. I don't know.
You're right. I think that's the point. I think we all need to start looking at everything a little bit more optimistically. We're all a year experienced into this thing now. So, I think everybody's got their own story. Some are worse than others, and everybody gets, I think at this point we go, look, it's been a year. Everybody's got their own stories. Everybody's had their ups and downs. Everybody needs to get moving again. Everybody, look, the choice is yours now. Like, that's
Jeremiah says herd immunity without a vaccine will put the death rate closer to 1 million. Actually, a little bit earlier, it was said that was going to be closer to 2 million. But I'm just saying, like, Jeremiah, chances are, according to this article, one more time, I'd just like to point out, Jeremiah, and by the way, I am not being sarcastic, smarmy at all about this. Like, I see this article, and this tells me, like, millions and millions of people have already have had this already, right? And if this is the case, the death rate is so ridiculously low. Like, when you look at the death rates for children, 0.03%, and you say, well, no, it's actually 1/10 of 0.03%, whatever it is. Like, that's like extremely great news. Jeremiah over here, he being smarmy. Yeah, let's open everything up. Jeremiah, I think you should have the opportunity to live your life how you want to live. That's what I think. I think that's a pretty fair thought. I love you, buddy.
I agree with, at least at this point. Look, I think at the beginning of this a year ago, everybody was like, oh, geez, I don't know. And we all did our best, right? 15 days to slow the spread was the start of all this. I think everybody put their best foot forward, and then it sort of just kept lingering and getting longer and longer. And I would say at this point, look, we don't know what's worked and what hasn't really worked. Really, when you look at it, there's so many inconsistencies. You could pick out anything that you think works, and somebody can say, well, that actually didn't work because, such and such. So at this point, 1 year, 1 year anniversary. I think I don't know who needs to come out. Fauci. He's got to go. Look, just everybody move on. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's been a mess, and just everybody just gets to go and move on, and then it just ends. It just stops, and then we just see what happens.
Right. So I'm looking real quick at let's see. Hold on. Let me see if I can find this real quick. Let's see if I can find this really fast to get the provisional stuff. It says Jeremiah follows up, says you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. People out without masks spreading a pandemic isn't far off. But how, so just to be clear, you're Jeremiah, I want to be really clear with your analogy. You are comparing going outside without a mask to being inside of a theater and yelling fire. Like you're comparing those two equally. I love you, buddy, but I just want to make sure we're on the same page with your analogy.
Yeah, well, there are people, dedicated to that idea. I don't know. I got nothing.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm on the same page here. That's all.
Yeah.
With all this. So yeah.
Okay.
He says it's a public health issue, homie. But what I'm saying, Jeremiah, according to this article, once again, it's not as bad as you thought it was. It's literally 10 times not as bad as you thought it was. If there's 10 times the amount of people who have it, and the death rate is that low.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I'm just going based off this article and this study that's been done. So it doesn't seem like it's that big of a health issue if there's 10 times as many people who have whatever. I've explained it. That's okay.
You got it.
Yeah,
you're right. You can miss reports of people who have it, living people. You're not going to miss, like I said earlier, you're not going to miss the dead people. You can't not report a dead person.
Right.
So
right. You can over-report dead people. That's been proven that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a conspiracy theory at all. And I'm not a conspiracy theory. You guys know that. But it's been literally proven that we've had people in our chat, like last episode, somebody mentioned that their friend died. Their friend died who had cancer, and then he caught COVID, but he died of cancer, and they listed it as a COVID death. I mean, it's been talked about in our chat. It's been proven.
Oh yeah. So, I've heard plenty of stories like that, car wrecks and things like that, where they just get put on a list as COVID. They got tested afterwards, so they get put on a list. Then they become a case, right? And then later, it's like, well, it was a car wreck. So it just gets added to this list, right?
Yes.
It's just crazy.
Cats and Ages says, yes, you can. You can yell fire in a crowded theater when there is fire. Yes. There you go.
True. This is true.
Before we move on, Ermac, thank you so much for the resub, and Jeremiah, thank you very much as well, buddy. Appreciate that, man. That's awesome. Chancho says, get the shot. That is how we move on. After seeing my sister-in-law and ICU head nurse and get my brother who has blood clotting get the shot, I'm starting to get optimistic. Well, good for you, Chancho, because there are a lot more shots that are coming, which is great. So
again, though, I had a conversation last night with a friend, and her sister got it, and her sister had a very bad reaction to the first one, so she's not going to be getting the second shot.
What happened?
So, I can't remember exactly what happened. She just had a very bad reaction to the shot. It was just a little comment she left on my Facebook page. So yeah, I mean, as far as vaccines go, I don't think that it's going to fit every single person. It's not going to save every single person. There are people that are that react very poorly to injections like that. So I don't know. It'll work for some people, it'll work for others. Again, choice.
CDI says we got to change this name of the podcast to Pandemic with Craig and Brad.
Yeah, we ended up going down this road after Super Bowl. This should have been the Super Bowl
Pandemic special.
Pandemic special for sure. And we haven't even gotten to our second story.
We'll get to that in just a second.
We threw in a second bonus story, Super Bowl bonus.
Sometime. Health Warrior says the vaccine is not a savior. You can still transmit COVID if you're vaccinated. The reports on the manufacturer's site say it will lessen your symptoms, but you can still transmit it. That's why they say you still have to wear a mask and distance yourself after you get the vaccine.
Yeah.
Yes.
The press secretary just said that the other day. Actually, she confirmed that. She was like, "Well, you're still gonna have to." And then it's like, "Well, okay." So I was thinking about it the other day, and maybe I have said this on this podcast, but I was thinking, okay, so we got test in the nose, test in the butt. We've covered that. Mask, 1 to 4 masks, and then 2 jabs in the arms. You get a card to show that you've gotten your, you got your passport now. But I was just thinking, like, and you're either fined or arrested, not yet here in America, but in some places fined or arrested if you don't comply with certain guidelines and rules. But I was thinking, how violated you would feel if that all happened at one time, like
Right.
and then shoved along the way. It's all spaced out, so you don't really notice it. So everybody's sort of like, well, no, I don't know.
Miss Mindy says, my friend got a second shot. I got the second shot and got pretty sick, spiked to fever, nausea. Yeah, for sure. Sure. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. Make your own, proceed with caution, make your own choices. That's kind of where I've left it all at this point. There's just so much to consider that you gotta be your own person. And you can't get mad at other people, for their choices.
Right. It kind of goes back to the idea of, like, somebody gets mad at you for wearing one mask and not wearing, you're like, well, where's your 4? Where's your 5?
Right.
Or if you're outside jogging, they're like, where's your mask? You're like, how come you're not wearing 6 right now? Do you, if you really care about it, come on.
Yeah, you would listen.
Okay. Let's see. Griff coming in. This is a pretty hot take. Says, not really hot take, simple observation. Says, show your papers and you can't pass. Where have we seen this before? It's kind of
it's happening with airlines. It's happening with concerts are going to require that to do anything.
Yes. All right. You want to move on to the next story?
We can. Sure.
Okay, sounds good.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. I just know this is the title of the episode here, this next story. And I don't, so I'll let you, because I don't know enough about this. I'm just going to react to this.
Well, I saw an article this morning, and I just thought, is this where it's come to? It's such a divisive time right now. Probably the most divisive it's ever been outside of, a civil war where we're all literally killing each other. But I saw this article and I read it, and it popped up today. It says, what you can do about the Trumpites. What can you do about the Trumpites next door? So this story is by Virginia Heffernan. This originally appeared in the Los Angeles Times this morning. So I'll just read this to you. Oh, heck no. This is journalism, by the way. The Trumpites next door to our pandemic getaway.
Wait, well, I'm sorry, real quick. What is a Trumpite? Is that a Trumpite? Is somebody? I'm guessing somebody who voted for them.
It's a Trump. It's a Trump supporter.
Okay.
So the Trumpites next door to our pandemic getaway, who seemed as devoted to the ex-president as you can get without being Q fans, just plowed our driveway without being asked and did a great job. Right? So how am I going to resist demands for unity in the face of this act of aggressive niceness? Okay? The most divisive time in history, at least in my lifetime, and aggressive niceness is now a problem. You can't even do a nice. You can't even do a kindness.
This can't be real, right? Like,
this is real.
This has got to be sarcastic.
It's not. It's not. It's real.
Are we sure? Like, because I'm reading that. I'm reading this as sarcastic.
No, I found this girl on Twitter because I was like, I thought the same thing. Surely this isn't real. Like, I'll just say thank you, right? Hey, I know we have our differences. Thank you, right? It's time for unity and healing, right? Hey, thanks. No. So she says, of course, on some level, I realize I owe them thanks. And man, it really looks like the guy backdragged the driveway like a pro. But how much thanks? These neighbors are staunch partisans of blue lives, and there aren't a lot of any other There aren't a lot of anything other than white lives in the neighborhood, which this person moved to, right? They just said this is their pandemic getaway. So
Right.
their privilege brought them to this white neighborhood.
Right. Okay.
And so now they're mad. So this is also kind of weird. Back in the city, people don't sweep other people's walkways for nothing. And she goes on to compare it to Eddie Murphy, that SNL sketch, White Like Me. He goes undercover in white makeup and finds out that when white people are among their own, they pop free champagne. And that was an old like comedy sketch. That wasn't real.
Right.
So she goes on, when someone helps you when you're down or snowed in, it's almost impossible to regard them as a blight on the world. In fact, you're more likely to be overwhelmed with gratitude and convinced of the person's inherent goodness. Right. So just say thanks next time you see them instead of writing an article about it. And I thought that we would end up talking about this because I'm like, is this what we've come to?
Well, what did she come to? What's the end result of this article? Like, give me like the last couple paragraphs or something.
Let's see.
Here.
Okay. I also can't give my neighbors absolution. It's not mine to give. Free driveway work is as nice as it is not, or is just not the same currency as justice and truth. So them doing a nice thing, it's nice that they plowed her driveway, but they did not solve justice and truth for those that are oppressed, I guess. To pretend it is, I can't read today, would be a lie, and they probably aren't looking for absolution anyway. But I can offer a standing invitation to make amends, not with the snowplow, but by recognizing the truth about the Trump administration, and more important, by working for justice for all those whom in the administration harmed. Only when we work shoulder to shoulder to repair the damage of the last 4 years will we even begin to dig out of this storm. So I read this article. I thought it was crazy. Like, you're thinking way too hard about somebody doing something nice for you, right? But what really bothered me is this. Look, you and I both have friends on both sides of the aisle, right? And we have people that are Trump supporters. We have people who absolutely hate Donald Trump. And I've watched this happen, and I go, here's what I do know about Donald Trump supporters. They're not the terrible people that they're made out to be. Maybe some of them are. Maybe some of them are horrendous, but like not all of them. We can't blanket all of them. But the fact that she wrote this article and she didn't think like maybe I'm wrong a little bit, right? Like maybe my perception of this whole class of people that I don't like, maybe they're not all that way. Does that make sense?
That's such a fascinating, that's such a wonderfully horrible metaphor for the division in this country, where you have someone doing someone a favor, and it's just not good enough.
Yeah, it was aggressive niceness. This is where made up words start coming into play. This is an article in the LA Times. This is a journalist that had a personal experience of kindness given to them. But you didn't ask me if you could plow my driveway. Like what level of arrogance are you on that you're like, I've got this problem, but you didn't ask me to fix it, that you could fix it, right? It's just beyond.
It legitimately hurts me to think that there are people like that in this world. The idea that they're so, talking about like identity, politics, like the idea of you having to be, a certain way to be in a club, right? Like what is better? Like, what is legitimately better, right? The idea of somebody liking a presidential candidate. I'm not even going to say the presidential candidate. What's better, liking presidential candidate A or candidate B, right? You can like either one, but what's better, liking them so much that you dislike everybody else who doesn't like them, right? Like, It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing good is accomplished from that. So much so that they had to, like, once again, in this lady's place of privilege,
Mm-hmm.
where she's going to this getaway while other people are locked down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she had to feel upset
I
about
can't
that.
imagine what would have happened if her neighbors actually saved her life. Right? She's like laying there. She's like her, she's whatever the situation may be. She's about to die, but along come her neighbors. Maybe they see through the window. Oh my gosh. She's laying on the floor. We got to bust in there and save her. They pull out her driveway to get through into her door. They bust through. They get her to the hospital. They save her life. Does she lay on the bed and go, I don't know how much to thank you because of who you voted for?
Have you seen the beginning of Incredibles where they save the guy who's falling off the building and he
Right.
sues them?
Right.
Like, it's legitimately something you can't even write. Like, it's something you would put in a movie. That's so ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But in this case, so you put it in the LA Times.
Yeah. Well, here's why I want to end this. I just thought of this just now. If you're watching the show on YouTube or you're watching live with us right now, find some time this week to do a kindness for somebody. Okay? And don't expect them to say thanks. Just go do it anyway and let them sit and wonder. like maybe you got a good one, right? Maybe you do a kindness and they go, thank you very much. That was very kind of you. Or maybe you get one person like this and you just let them sit and wonder, because that's issues. That's issues at this point. What's her name? Virginia Heffernan. Look, shame on you. Okay? You didn't plow your driveway. They did. Just say thanks and move on with your life.
I wonder if she's going to pay that forward at all.
I don't know.
We talk about paying things forward on our channel. I got a buddy, Bruce. Bruce is really great guy. He's a big proponent of paying things forward, paying forward the niceness, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a wonderful. I love that. I love the idea of, like, look, how about you just do something nice for somebody? How about opening that door for somebody who's struggling with their kids or has their bags in their hands or whatever? You may get within 6 feet of them, but you're still going to help them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just do something nice for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
In this time of this stupid division where people are getting upset about people doing them a favor,
Mm-hmm.
you can't say. You wonder if she actually said. Did she say she said thank you at all?
She left it with something along the lines of like, I read that. She's like, yeah, it's nice they plowed my driveway. Free driveway work is nice, as nice as it is. It's just not the same currency as justice and truth. So what do you want? like where are we going with this? Because we're at a crossroads. We've been at a crossroads for a while. Everybody does not like the other half of the country. It's sliced. It's pretty thick, man.
Hey,
But what's our goal here? How long are we going to do this, right?
I have a request. Can you reach out to her on Twitter and try to get her on? Because I would love to talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is legitimately sick.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
and if she previews this show while we're if you're like, hey, you want to come on, and she comes in and she decides to watch it, like, I want to talk to you, because it's really fucked up of you to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is. So
Yeah.
please come on our show. I would love to talk to you. Our stance is be your own journalist. I would love to be your own journalist, unlike you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I saw that this morning. I started my day with that article and I was like, is this really where we're at now? Like a simple just thanks. I thought, we've entered into a time of unity and healing. Well, not aggressive unity and healing. We can't have that. It's got to be a specific time, a specific kind that involves truth and justice, and falls under a certain guidelines, like the CDC gives us guidelines.
A Florida man says that sentence you just highlighted would be sit in the dictionary as an example of the definition of virtue signaling, right? And that's really kind of what this comes down to. I feel like that's really what it's about is look at me, the victim of somebody who has been somebody who's done something nice for me, which is incredible.
Or even on a small scale, like let's say a guy wearing a "Make America Great Again" hat opens the door for you. You
got to say no.
You got an armful of groceries. You can't even grab it.
Flip it. Somebody with a Biden hat on, right? They walk out and like, are you going to be like, no, it doesn't matter the political hat that you're wearing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Flip it. It doesn't.
Like, do you walk by and do you just ignore them? Do you stick your nose up and walk past? I don't like your affiliation. Or, do you look at them and go, thanks, and give them some smug, arrogant thing? Like, why can't we just do that these days? Why does that little small act of acknowledgement have to be twisted into something so distorted and terrible? Like, just, hey, I really appreciate you. Let me do it for her right now. Let me give an example to what's her name again? Virginia Heffernan. This is what you need to do next time you see your neighbors. Hey, thank you so much for plowing my driveway. I was not expecting that, and it really helped me out with getting my day moving and the errands I needed to run. And I just really appreciated that. So thank you. And that's it. That's it.
We go back to the statement of like your political affiliation should not be an attribute. It should not be an attribute for you. When I think of people, I say, Jolene, she's very nice. She's a very kind person who will go out of her way to help people. Or there's Zach, he's a smarmy jerk. Like there's it, but at no point am I like, they're libertarian, and they're Democrat or they're Republican, like at no point when describing people should that come up, and as soon as that does become a part of the conversation, you've gone too far. If people like describe you that way, if it's like not like this person is not reasonable, like I think we can all figure this out. This person is not reasonable. But if a reasonable, just regular person, like 99.99% of us are, right? Just come along and say, hey, Jim over there is he's a great guy, whatever, and we don't use the term, Jim's a Democrat, or whatever. Like as soon as we can be like, well, Jim's a Democrat, that's the first thing you want to say, Jim's gone too far on the deep end, so whatever. So
yeah. The real go-to says, does it always have to come back to politics, like some addiction where your life revolves around it? Like, I imagine this girl, imagine truth and justice is cocaine, and it's just all smeared around her mouth, and she can't see straight because she's on this drug, right? Where she can't even say thanks to her neighbors. She's got a little bit of that white snow of truth and justice where she's just not thinking clearly. Virginia, pick your head up, get clean. Just say thanks anytime anybody ever in your life does something nice for you. Okay? Big or small. Then don't write an article about it for attention.
Real quick, there was a comment. Mike says, don't bother bringing her on. She's so set in her ways. Just read her other articles. So out of touch and divisive. That's why I would love to actually speak with them, because they clearly are out of touch. They clearly are so divisive that it would be good to actually have a conversation. Legitimately, this person probably has not actually spoken to somebody who just is not like them. And I think that's important. Like that's so like conversation right now with people like that is important for them and for us, because I want to see what the way this person is thinking, and I want to see, and I'm sure that she wants to know why I'm the bane of my existence because I'm a white guy, So
yeah, that would be interesting. I'd love to have those conversations. I love having those conversations. I find myself in those conversations frequently with friends on Facebook. And it's because I never cleared out like I've never bothered doing the thing where you clear out your friends based on what you want to see in your news feed. So my news feed is all junked up with all sorts of stuff. And I have conversations with people, and guess what? It's usually as civil as this show, right? We're just having conversations. I think it'd be great. Everybody go tweet at go tweet Virginia
No,
Hernandez.
do not. No, it's your job, Brad.
I'll do it. Okay. I'll give her.
Captain Agent says, has anyone ever talked about a candidate and not a specific political topic and actually changed their vote? I never experienced it. And this is with some very good, healthy discussions. Yeah, I think for the most part, when it comes to discussions, we've had this talk before, but when it comes to discussions and just conversations, I don't think they're meant to change people's mind. I think it's more with the idea of just talking. And that's where a lot of people have come from now, is the idea that, like, look, I think this way, you think this way, and now we're going to, right? But that's totally unnecessary. It should be a very simple thought process of, like, look, this is how I think, and I would love to hear your thought process. And you know what? It's not about changing somebody's mind. As you know, I know that Steven Crowder has his very popular, change my mind, right? That's a debate. Conversation is not a debate. There's two totally different things. So conversing with somebody about a political belief or favorite football team, you can rag on people, but ultimately you're not about to. It shouldn't be about changing somebody's mind, unless it goes back to the analogy I've used before of, like, an overweight person being told that they're fat. You're fat. You've heard me use this analogy several times. They're not going to want to change until they decide they want to change, until something hits them in their heart. Whether that's them being overweight, whether that's them thinking a certain way politically that may not align with you, align with the way you think. There's certain points in your life that you have to decide how you're going to feel about a certain thing, and that may sway you a certain way. So
those changes usually happen after a good amount of conversation, after they've absorbed, your one conversation won't change somebody's mind, but some information inside of a conversation will stick with them. And then they'll have another conversation with somebody else, and a little bit of information will stick with them there. And that's the kind of stuff that happens, is like you accumulate interesting information that connects with you, and that's what ends up making you change. It's not like, oh, well, Brad and Craig said it. We might say some things where you're like, oh, I heard Brad and Craig say something the other day. That was interesting. And then it'll just stick with you. And then you'll have another conversation. So,
right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, we've gone over an hour again.
What are we doing?
I don't know. But once again, if you'd like to support free-flowing, independent conversation based off observation, you can head to patreon.com/Craig Skits and support us there. That would be great. Brad is getting closer to getting real internet, better internet. So this grainy son of a gun over here will look so much better. So there you go. All right. You guys have an excellent day. If you guys are watching over on YouTube, go to twitch.tv/Craig Skits right now, because right now there's a pre-show going, and we're about to start the show. I'm going to be live with you, twitch.tv/Craig Skits, and we're going to be doing Mortal Kombat Monday. Ooh, baby. Listen, you want to be here for that. Trust me. Imagine the craziest roster of Mortal Kombat characters. Brad, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is in this. It's insane. Trust me, you want to see this.
It's a different Mortal Kombat than I remember.
Well, it's this thing called Mugen, where people make these characters. RoboCop's in it. It's
cool.
Awesome. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. So nice. You guys head over to twitch.tv/Craig Skits. Come join me right now. Greatly appreciate that. Charles has headed over to patreon.com/Craig Skits and pledged, listen to this, $30, Brad.
Nice.
That is insane. Charles, thank you so much.
Thank you, Charles.
That's awesome. And once again, last chance to get on in over and pick up the shirt. There's only 7 shirts left, y'all. 7 shirts left. Go pick them up right now. You can pick it up right now over at streamlabs.com/Craig Skits, the number 1/merch. The link is down below. Go get it. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in over on Twitch, and for you guys tuning in over on YouTube as well. You guys are great. Have a great day. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
See ya.